beautiful thing to witness, so thank you all for coming. My name is Courtney Terry. I work at the Public Library here in McMinnville, and we partner every month on the first Thursday at 6 p.m. with Dan and Nancy, owners of the gallery at 10 Oaks, to hold these poetry nights. Don't mind me, just holding the wall up over there. Hi, welcome to our very special poetry night. It is the last one of the summer, by which we mean there won't be, there's not going to be, we're missing two. So there won't be one in July and there won't be one in August, and then we'll be back September 5th. So just FYI with that one. September 5th.
Yay, Courtney knew it.
Marcy, not Marcy. Nancy told me ahead of time this time so I could be extra prepared with the date for things. Anyway, so our very special poetry night tonight, we will be featuring the winners of the Library Spring Poetry Contest. Some of the winners, and other winners are not here, but that's fine. We'll have great poetry without them until they arrive, and then we can shame them when they walk in. Just as any good poetry night should. Shame its readers. But so I think, and then we'll have an open mic afterwards. I don't know.
Half of us are open mics.
Yeah, I know. I could tell you how happy it made me that the vast majority of the entries for the Spring Poetry Contest were from our regular participants here at Poetry Night. Gave me lots of warm fuzzies. But so we won't be having Poetry Night, but the library's summer reading program, A Universe of Stories, will be starting up on June 19th, and we'll have a bunch of different activities. We'll do reading challenges, so you'll have particular types of books that we'll ask you to read, and you, I think there's a bingo card involved, which is also exciting. And then we'll have a few programs, including Sunday, July 14th. We will be having a sci-fi author panel featuring T.K. Greenleaf, who is the author of the sci-fi, she's a local Portland author of the book Duo, and then she will be there with a few other Portland area sci-fi authors, and they'll be doing a panel talking about their works, where they get their inspiration from, world building, kind of just all sorts of aspects of being a sci-fi writer. So that will be, I think, 2 p.m. on Sunday the 14th. Yep. So that will be one of a few different, and we're going to be rolling out all the different activities that'll be happening with that. And then also Poetry While You Wait will be not next Friday. Yep, Friday after, June 21st from 4 to 8. 4 to 8 at the Pirano and Daughter Ransom Tasting Room. And anyone who wants to write poetry while people wait for it, see Mike. And BYO typewriter, or not. But, okay, great. Okay, in that case, let's get to the poetry. So I'd like to invite first our first place winner, Bruce. Yay!
Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so I've got a haiku. The theme for the contest was literary spring. So I started thinking about all things literary and came up with a poem that I really was fond of, and I realized, I got to come up with two. So after I wrote a poem, I thought, well, maybe I'll balance it out with a haiku. And so the haiku is called Spring Haiku. Spring will be borrowed, just 3 cycles of the moon, then must be returned. So the first poem that I, for the contest that I wrote was actually a longer, non-haiku type writing, and that is called Season in Stride. Now, I'm going to make a confession that I often edit, rewrite, and cut and paste, so I think this is pretty much the poem that I turned in. If it's not, who will know? The judges will know. So if you're listening, I think this is the poem. So I could dig out the original, but this is my poem, Season in Stride. As the earth releases another edition of spring, we may ponder how such work has come to be. Perhaps once lit by moonbeams, strangest book you ever saw, gilded pages slowly turned by some ancient dragon's claw. Beginning once upon a time in a long forgotten city, jasmine scent with fireflies, serendipity. Countless chapters scored with echoing bells, a sprinkling of petals in magic spells, tales of adventure and dreaming, woven branches like a tree, exotic fruit, some jazzy flute in uncharted territory, where imagination swirls, riders' capes unfurl as they go dashing in exploration of grand new worlds, wondering if maybe the grass that stained our genes could be a little more green in some new scene, tasting while hoping our next bite will not cause a fright in discovering half a wiggly worm, wishing nothing beyond the glint of sunlight will come to warm our sabers, hoping respect for Mother Nature gentles the stride to continue our stories for all seasons.
Thanks, Bruce. Audience poll, I do have, so Patricia Farrell, who had the second place poem, could not be here this evening, but I am willing to read her poem. But I thought it would be great, maybe we'll just skip it for now, and we can go straight to Mike, who had the tie for third place poem.
Okay.
I'm just putting off me reading, so we can
I see
let
that.
the actual poets have their performance.
Well, first, poetry while you wait.
Hooray!
You,
Oh, wow.
we didn't. For some reason, we thought Alien Days would be terrific, but they were all aliens, and they they didn't give us. We only got $5 at a time, so we didn't make as much as we have been. But
That's okay.
let's hope next time
That's-
that $70 is every little bit helps.
Yeah, every little bit does help. Thank you. Wonderful.
I tied with for third place, and I'm really honored to be able to have tied with a poem that is a love poem, that is from the heart. It made me concerned about, mine is sort of cerebral and plays on words, so I kind of worried about the judge's libido. You know? But anyway, mine is Literary Spring, and it plays with the idea of spring and literature, sort of like yours does in a way too. Literary Spring. Literary spring bubbles up year-round out of the gray granite of our mind. The spring flows into Word Creek, which continues into meandering sentence stream, and then joins Paragraph River on its way to the ocean of stories and songs. Lucky are those who join Literary Spring's creative journey through words, through images, through thoughts, to travel to strange places, meet interesting strangers, and discover new worlds. The joy of Literary Spring is those who find it and ride down its path, bring the rest of us with it. to experience and the adventure of their journey. That's Literary Spring. And I'll read one more. I didn't submit two, I just set one, but has anybody been to Mary Hill Museum? Well, and they have, at the museum, it's up in the Columbia, beautiful place, and they have a lot of Rodin sculptures and stuff. And, Rodin with like the Thinker and the Kiss and those. And it got me thinking about the Rodin in the Park, a statue and people in the park. This is called Rodin in the Park. Naked statues denying the new spring fog, watch leafless trees wrestle in the light with contrast and controlled separations, and wait for the heat of the afternoon to tempt the roots to draw from the earth fluids and nurturing, forcing the trees to leaf and grow deeper into brightness. A young woman in a tweed hat with large brims strokes the bronze-muscled thigh and strikes a sultry pose for her girlfriend with the camera. They both laugh at the obvious fun as the camera flashes, but her fingers trail slowly across the hard, taut buttocks as they leave to sit in a coffee house and talk about who they are and who they want to be. The embrace's patina darkens in the air. Birds understand and copulate where the shoulders and the arms are interlocked, forever in search of a moment sought for its own sake by each and needed by all of us who want to know the ravenous future.
And then, hello. I will read the second place poem. Is that Dave? And look, Bruce, we're poetry phone friends.
That's right. That's how it's done. Just like a 12-year-old.
Yep. Okay, so this is the second place poem by Patricia Farrell, and it is entitled Fiddlehead. Last year's fronds are falling away, fading towards the eager ground, ready to envelop them into the lush background. This year's frond executes a largo unfurling soft serrations, an accordion of green, scales of chartreuse. I was just minding my own business when I found myself witnessing the unfurling of a fiddlehead, a grand finale of opening day, the silent percussive movement of the spring symphony. Thank you, Patricia. Wonderful. Is Dave here? Did Dave make it? No? No, Dave? Okay.
So you have to read it now?
I guess I do. And then we'll go to the open mic. And I would love to hear, Bonnie, were you going to read some of your entries from this? Perfect. Okay, great. Okay. So this was the other poem that tied for third. It was by Dave Holmes. And it is called Stolen Flowers. I wish I could read it like Dave can. He's really good at reading. I'm sorry. Daffodils, first flowers of the season, lay on the seat of my car. Stolen from the edge of a field, I pinched a dozen stems and drove away. Their sunny faces reminding us winter doesn't last forever, even in this downpour. I hurry home to her. I hope that she hasn't seen others by the road and is waiting for me to shake off winter and open my eyes to hints of spring. The first daffodils from a blonde-haired boy too poor to afford greenhouse roses, stealing symbols of love and hope. And, now with gray hair, I willingly remind her of that boy who steals flowers from the edges of fields simply to see the light in her eyes. Oh, I know. I know, that was really sweet. Okay, enough from me. We will now open it up to open mic. Who would like to read first? Oh, do you have? Oh,
She has a list.
people. Oh,
Just follows it.
that's even better.
And there's the rest of your folks on your list.
Okay.
So I am first.
It's according to the list. You are, yes.
I entered 2 little poems, and the first one is The Promise of Spring. I know spring is coming. Can you believe it's almost here? I have waited all winter long for the best time of the year. April showers bring May flowers. That's what they always say. But it also requires a lot of sun. I could handle sunshine every day. Birds preparing their nested homes, sprouting flowers and budding trees. For the beauty of this time of year, I will say thank you down on my knees. And the other one is the Song of Spring. I hear a constant chirping from somewhere up above. Sounds like a baby robin, or maybe a little dove. The winter's barren trees are waking from their rest, and among those blossoms, I now can see a little nest. In that nest, the little ones keep chirping their pretty song. The beauty of the song they sing is remembered forever long. Mama comes from way off far, a tempting morsel in her beak, bringing it to her little ones who are waiting for their treat. She looks at her little ones, all mouths open, gaping wide. She chooses the one next in line and carefully drops the food inside. Then swiftly she departs again to find goodies for the rest. Many trips to feed all the babes for which she's so been blessed. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie. Okay. We can do that. Lucy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yep. You signed the list.
I just put my name on it.
Oh.
Wasn't even sure where I was on it, so clip that. I brought a poem that I wrote last month at the Poetry While You Wait event, and a man came in and wanted a poem about bartending or bartenders, and I didn't actually see him. I think I came in a little late, and so I thought, well, okay, I'll just write a poem about bartenders. So that's what I'm reading. It's called Some of My Best Friends Are Bartenders. You have to love it to be a good one. The best remain calm under fire. They know a few good jokes and how to tell them. They pour a mean martini, old style, with gin and no nonsense. A bartender lives at night. It is in the night that things happen. Lovers fall in love over their brandy snifters. Love goes bad over whiskey sours. Spontaneous dancing breaks out. Sometimes poems are born from the mouths of hard-up drunkards, and occasionally a bear on a unicycle will pass through. Bartenders have seen everything and don't mind telling you so. And so they show up at night for their appointed rounds, ready to serve up elixirs of memory and forgetting. Let the show begin.
Thank you. I know, I want to get some copies for some put upon bartenders I happen to know. Okay. Mike. Yes. Oh,
Wow. No more volunteering around here.
no, because,
You're gonna serve.
well, you signed your soul away on the,
I know, I did.
yeah.
Okay. All
That's
right.
for you.
Thank you. All right. I missed out on the library. I forgot about it. I heard at the beginning, and man, I wished I would have, got to get in it. So, congratulations, Bruce. and everybody else, whoever all won. Okay, so this is called Alone with a Pen. And I wrote this just because, you know, sometimes things don't always pan out like you think, you know. Alone I sit with my thoughts and my pen, conjuring up a sentence to rhyme. The essence seems right, this could be the night. I'll write the most beautiful poem of all time. Or maybe I'll just fizzle again. Over and over, try as I might to expound like bars before me. Their flowing and glowing oral reports, it's as if the gods of Gab ignore me. Whatever I write just don't turn out right. No one's ever accused me of being a quitter. Some have even said I'm bullheaded. I'll take it to heart, it can't be that hard. To face what I have dreaded, the taste of defeat would be bitter. Out, damn spot, out. So simple a line escapes me. I've racked my brain until there's pain. To be or not to be is not to be. Therefore, I haven't a doubt. I'll sit alone with thoughts and pen for as long as beats my heart inside. Hope springs eternal to escape the infernal. Failure I cannot abide. So tomorrow I live to write again. I'm sure we all can relate to that, right?
Okay, thank you. And then we have another participant from the Spring Poetry Contest, Priscilla. Okay, and then...
You're there. Can you hear me? Yes. Good. I had fun entering. It's the first time I've entered a contest. So it's good. It's good. Fun. I got 5th prize, I found out. That was enough for me. I was really happy. Okay, it's called This Day's Prize, and it's about a rowan tree. So I don't know if you know what a rowan tree is. They get these white blossoms in the spring, and then they turn into the red berries, and they're sacred. And in Ireland, you're not supposed to cut them down. You build roads around them, and druids make these staffs out of them and things like that.
What kind of tree?
A rowan tree. They're considered very sacred. And rowan. Yeah, it's also my son's name, so I wrote this. Yeah. It's called This Day's Prize. Through my window stands the rowan tree, bearing upward spouting bouquets of clustered white spring buds, unfolding into their tale of the crimson red journey to come when thrown by their autumn bride. And knowing that day will come too soon, I pull my gaze to the window pane, only to find hundreds of newly hatched charlottes climbing up, searching for a ferry to the other side, where they will spin bridal chupas in the sun. Sliding the stationery against the glass, they lift as one connected web sailed by my hand, tiny moving letters on a paper boat. I try to read the words they spell. An invitation? At last I open the door, where the breeze catches this day's prize, invoking with ease a spider baby benediction for my heart to hear. That's that one. Now I brought 2 others, but I was only going to read 1 more. So I'm going to read the one that I was most nervous about. Because I kind of wrote it for kids. And you know those kids that don't like to go to sleep and keep asking you for more and more? So this came from this phrase. So the title of the poem is called Why One When You Can Have Two? Kiss me goodnight, tuck me in tight, spin me a dream of the mysteries you've seen. A tale of bravery facing dark night, one to give courage till I wake at first light. Sit with me here on the bed just a while, letting me gaze at your loving smile. Hold my hand and sing me a song. Give me the uke, I'll play along. You're going to like this one because it rhymes, and I don't do rhyme very often. One more tale, one more hug. Roll me up like a bug in a rug. It's dark in here and lonely too. Check under my bed for the boogie boo. I need the light, so crack the door. By the way, do you think I snore? My sweet, the light is bright inside you. Close your eyes and see how it will guide you. No need to fear, I'm never far. Feel the heart's chord of the love we are. Please don't go. One more kiss. Can't you stay? What can I say? I want things my way. Okay, my darling, I'll kiss you goodnight. Oh, you, why one when you can have 2?
Thank you. Thanks. And then Jay Stegman. Yes.
I'm as prepared as I usually am.
I know that feeling.
It's kind of like a prepared or not. But I'm better than a frozen dinner anyway.
Pardon me. There you go.
Now this notebook started in August 27th, 05. And I just pulled it out. And I have learned not to edit, because I get words down if I don't have to edit. I just let them spill. So this piece is just what it is. And when I'm done fiddling with my pages here, the absolute grace of people accepting people. Listening like becoming the tones of the strings of Stradivarius. We encouraged one another, showed a genuine affection for the ambiance. Vivid impressions were made on each soul, mind, shifting by degrees closer to hope and more trust. I came home, picked up this pen after a few minutes of television and didn't make the grade. Sitting quietly, expressing my hope-filled heart, purposed to bring others along. Where trusting becomes your resting place. I was really amazed to have all these beautifully creative souls seem nearly a cloud of glory. The outcome to the last minute, 120 minutes from the time we began, wonderful talent, stronger now for writing, editing, listening, following intuitively. Where the metal is made and distributed, rewiring in the basement of the soul is recommended. Rewiring my neck. Excuse me. Rewiring. Okay. Where was I? Sitting quietly, expressing my hope-filled heart, purpose to bring others along, where trusting becomes your resting place. I was really amazed to have all these beautifully creative souls seem nearly a cloud of glory. The outcome to the last minute, 120 minutes from the time we began, wonderful talent, stronger now for writing and editing and listening and following intuitively, where the metal is made and distributed, rewiring in the basement of the soul is recommended. It actually inspires the better choices toward knowing your place and purpose in this life. Truly, it is lived best in the singing, understood best when the math of the oneness of the multiple of angles at which relationships connect attract a percussive reverberation like a crackling thunder. Frequencies of sound in a perfect equation requires the tapping of toes to the yearning to participate. It's that yearning, that request of the heavenly heart, so loved and adored, that were we plants, photosynthesis would very non-abruptly change us by the tones and rhythm. This is the music I wish to play. Discrete percussion, chords sung through strings, reeds, brass, valves and slides, whistles and scrapers, vocals, a crew on a cruise liner of music. Bring me home, ABBA. Bring me home. Showing up for the recall.
My musical prayers are answered, and my musical prayers are as well coming for our victory. Becomes our victory. Personally, I find relationships about the most satisfying aspect of my life. Should that emphasis improve, I must write of what mind-changing, growing realities replace old cavities of old patterns, yearning for change, poured in by music and words, one or the other or both. Let's sing together.
Another pitch for Poetry While You Wait on Friday, June 23rd, or 21st. Yeah, 21st. The other thing is, in March, we had Tim Whitsitt come. And he talked about a poetry group that he went to where he generated a number of poems from that he read in his book. He called it breakfast poetry or something like that. And what they do is they come together, there's 6 of them, they come together, have coffee, and they have a prompt. And an arbitrary prompt, and they throw the prompt on the table, it's a picture or words, and then they all write, 6 minutes, they all write from that prompt. And then they read. And then, boom, another one. So they go 2 hours, and they get maybe 4 or 5 or 6 scraps. And whatever it is, sometimes it's just a title, sometimes it's, whatever. I love that idea. So if anybody wants to participate in something like that, I'd like to see if we could get something in the daytime, maybe not really too early, but something where we would do that and generate poems, because it seems like the prompts and the things that we get from the Poetry While You Wait, we get some great poems out of that, and their first draft, they're just right out. So anyway, I'd like to encourage anybody to get a hold of me. Okay, I'll read a poem. The other thing we do here, which I really like, is paintings to poetry. And there's a painting upstairs.
There's an example on the koi pond behind.
Oh yeah, there's some of mine there. No, those aren't mine. Oh, they are? No. But anyway, they post them. And the last time we were here, there was one upstairs, and it was it's a picture of a little boat on tires and stuff. And the title was Retired 2. And it sort of spoke to me. Being a little boat, just a painter being pulled along, I worried about being retired, pulled up on tires and forgotten. Next to an old shed, maybe a youngster would want to go fishing and remember me. I don't want to give up hope, even as I feel my keel beginning to rot. And the nice thing about that is I got an email from the artist, and she said, this was a painting from up in Alaska that I walked by, and I felt so sorry for that little boat. And so the poem really, and so she's putting it on her website along with the thing. And so I don't know how often we do that here, but it's a great thing to do. 4 times a year. Yeah. And you have about an hour. We look at the pictures and then write a poem. And then they pay, you send them to the artist, and then if the artist likes them, then you post them, right?
Oh, we don't care.
The artists don't get a say whether they're posted. They get posted.
Oh, I see.
The artists are very touched. They love that this gets done, and they're just in awe that their painting inspired a poem. And then what happens when the art sells, the poem goes with it, and the customers love that too.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, anyway, that's what I wanted to pitch the poetry improv idea.
Is that what you would call it, poetry improv?
I don't know. whatever we can call it.
Work in progress poetry prompt group. But great, thank you. Yeah. So you got a couple people that with good in. Maybe one of your first meetings you can decide on a punny name. Okay. Is there anyone else that wanted to?
I can read the last one. I did bring two.
Okay.
Short. Okay. Lots of fun. And I did drive from Newburgh, so
Oh
I
my
want to
gosh,
hear.
thank you.
I braved it. Okay, the weather's getting nice, so this is called Wander. Set aside your expectations of what is ahead or behind. Let go of who you think you are, that you might meet yourself upon the glowing path. As you cast your eyes upon the mirrored canvas of sky and catch an epiphany of sacred and colors between light. Be prepared for your heart to leap unexpectedly, bursting forth at seemingly small wonders. For lying at your feet are things that fly, and history is the soil beneath, lecturing your toes. Peel back the veil between worlds, and an ancient stone will cry out to you, the re-enchanted wanderer.
Yay! Thank you, Priscilla. I was so excited. This was going to be a special poetry night since we got to celebrate some of our regulars and the awesome work they did. And then it happened we had many new folks willing to share. So perfect fun.
That's going to happen that way.
I sure hope so.
Is there a night when you have musicians in poetry as well?
We've done that a few times.
The drums and the chimes and
Yeah, we that was beats, bongos, and bass.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah. There was also the poet laureate had a harpist who. Cool. Let's get some more of those back then. Yes, we can do that again. And I will say, I believe so there's the event space, the new art Maca.
Yes, it's on Northeast Baker and 8th. And they do a poetry open mic night. Right now they're doing it the first and third Wednesdays of the month. Yeah, and they have guest poets as well.
So during July and August, if you miss us so much, please head over to, it's a new space that they are also doing poetry nights. So nice work, everybody. Okay, and I think that's it for this evening. Thank you all so much. Feel free to take some time to spot the poems with the art in the gallery, and we will see you back for our first poetry night of fall, September 5th. So have a great summer. Thank you all so much for coming.